all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey everybody, how are we doing today? Hopefully we're doing well. We are going to get started in just a moment. Give me a quick second. Okay. So there was a debate / conversation that was hosted on Dr. Daff's channel. Shout out to Dr. Michelle Daff. And our girl Maggie, the substitute teacher, was on there representing the Lionesses. She said, thank you for adding your expertise to this topic. First of all,
Mr. Grid!
What's poppin', twin?
How's it going?
Hey, you doing?
thank you so much, sweetheart, for the contribution. I greatly appreciate you. Okay. We are going to get started here. I'm not going to waste too much time. This was a two-parter, so depending on how this stream goes, I might do more than this part. But this is going to be very, very important. Okay? So I need you guys to strap in. Thank you so much, babe. Said don't forget to follow on TikTok, Instagram, The Crimson Cure. I am The Crimson Cure on every platform. Okay, you definitely want to get over to the other social media platforms, particularly Instagram. I'm kind of enjoying Instagram a little bit, and I know that you guys will too. And also, before we get started, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. All right, so we are going to go ahead and get started, okay? I wish it was a way for me to sort of resize my covers, because you can't really. But I don't think that Dr. Daff charges for us using her video as well. Okay. All right. So this was a conversation between feminists and anti-feminists. So this is a lioness hyena conversation. And y'all already know. So the first prompt was, women have more privileges today than men. We're going to start there. That prompt only lasts maybe about 20 minutes.
Okay, anyone who feels strongly can speak.
I think women in many ways have more privileges, but they also have more oppressions. And I think both of these things have to be weighed in when you're talking about like people's social power, right? It's really important to understand that women face significant oppressions, significant issues. And so while some of the privileges that we can identify, like courts tend to be more lenient to them, for example, if there's a situation, for example, of custody, women are going to be favored in that situation. They also have less choice with their bodies, right? They have issues where with hiring, if they try to negotiate, they'll be seen as caustic and negative because they're kind of our stereotypical presumptions of how women have to be. And these things impact women significantly. That's just why I would say they have less political power overall as well.
Well, just one of those things was not true in regards to custody decisions in this country. In fact, men are more likely to receive custody of their children if they ask for it. If men seek custody in a court in the United States of America, statistically, they are 90% likely to receive more custody or possibly even exactly what they were asking for. I would just say that women are not more likely to receive custody of children in court. Men are. Women just are the ones who more receive custody in court.
It's true. It's only 4%. Only 4% of men fight for custody of their children.
And when they do, it's successful 90% of the time. So that would tell me that court actually favors men. I understand that there's like kind of this anecdote that family court does in fact favor women, but it just so happens.
Now, I'm going to pause her right there because she went ahead and derailed the conversation. The first lady was talking about, she was talking nonsense too. The very first lady that started talking, she was talking nonsense. She was talking about, oh yeah, we do have more privileges, but we also have more oppression. Ma'am, it's not possible to have a lot of privileges as well as a multitude of oppressions. The first thing that you have to consider is that the women in Western societies, and I can only really speak from the experience of living in America, are some of the freest women, for good, bad, or indifferent, are some of the freest women in the world in terms of not having to live with different restrictions that are not that they're not a part of American culture, right? So it's a lot of things that women in America do not have to worry about. Like, it's a lot of things that are simply not happening in America as they are in other countries. We're not having to face any time where we are unable to receive education. We're not being oppressed as women. And it begs the question, what rights are you actually fighting for at this point? Like, what are we fighting for? Exactly. Like, what do the feminists not have as women, as a group of women, as a collective group of women? What do feminists not have in terms of basic civil human rights in this country? What are they not able to do? They never actually answer the question. What are you fighting for? Inevitably, it always comes back to baby deletions. It always comes back to baby deletions. They don't talk about the other parts of the medical field that actually does sort of ignore women. The feminists never talk about the actual issues within the medical field that actually negatively affect women. They only talk about baby deletions, but they never talk about the actual things that actually happen with women in the medical field. I watched a video of this guy, black dude, and he was rainbow, right? Young guy. And he was featuring or commenting on this other video of a trans male to female, another black one. And that trans was talking about how they had gotten all of these surgeries to try to look like a woman, and those surgeries were paid for through insurance. Meanwhile, women, actual biological women, are usually denied insurance claims for actual medical procedures, not even cosmetic procedures. I'm not even talking about the cosmetic procedures. I'm talking about actual medical procedures that women may need. Even ones that seem cosmetic. And I'll give you an example. Like there are women with very oversized breasts and they want breast reduction. I've known some of these women, a couple of these women are in my family. They needed a breast reduction. Like their breasts were too big. They were very heavy, causing them back problems, all kinds of problems. Okay. And it would seem like, well, you don't need a surgery for that. Yeah, until you live with them. Until you live with them two things on the front of your body, because breasts will keep growing. Okay. When you have neck, back, and shoulder problems because your breasts literally are a size G's, size F's, size H's, not even normal bra sizes. Those women actually need reductions. There's a such thing as too much. Then let's not talk about women who need actual reproductive health care. Baby deletions is not reproductive health care. There are women, they still have not really resolved the menopause issue. Not that they can stop menopause, but women be needing hormone treatments, all kind of stuff be going on with your body, and modern medicine kind of blow it off. Do you want to remove your reproductive system? Do you want to do that? Is that okay? We can just take the whole thing out. And it's like, that's a little drastic unless it's absolutely necessary. But sometimes that's like the first step. Like step 1 or 2. Feminists never talk about that kind of health care that women actually might need. Always the baby deletions. So we round all the way back. To what rights are you fighting for? They don't know. Actually, recently, my girl Sherelle answered that question on a HAMPS panel. I had to strongly disagree with her, but she said what it was. She said that they're fighting for pretty much complete autonomy, which is really not possible. But we're going to go back.
That women are more likely to want custody of their children. And that's where that mythology comes from.
I would disagree. You mentioned that men get custody when they ask for it, and that presumes that women don't have to ask for it. Why doesn't it begin equal and men not having to ask for custody if they are actually full parents, just
Sure.
like the mom?
Sure, that's a great question. I think it's really important that we have a conversation that our laws are written by men. Our courts are ruled by men. So if you have some concern about what a court presumes, well, that's a conversation to have with men too. They're the ones who wrote the laws.
I saw you.
What? It's such a cop-out. That's a cop-out. So the laws are written by men and the courts are run by men. And we're still, as a country, primarily run by majority men. So then we have to talk to men about the court system. Here's my issue with them. And I'm actually glad that the feminist side is pretty much all white women. I'm gonna be real with you right there. What she needs to do is she needs to correct what she said and say that this is being run by white men as a psyop on everybody. And we bought into it. Our foremothers as white women bought into it because they was mad. They was big mad about black men being able to vote in this country before then. So they started making up this whole thing about the patriarchy because Black men were men, right? Black or not, they were men. And so not counting in not counting the fact that these men were actually fighting out of slavery. That's a big leap to come from being enslaved in this country to having the right to vote in this country. They got mad. The white women of that time got mad. That first generation of suffragettes got mad. That's what a suffragette is. A woman who was advocating for the right of women to vote legally in this country. Okay. I actually don't have a problem with the voting thing, but be truthful. This was a white woman's issue. So say white men say what it is historically correctly. Our foremothers as white women was mad at white men because we had stuck by them the whole time. We was ride or dies with them through the whole slavery thing, and we was with them through Reconstruction and all this other kind of stuff. And after the South lost the Civil War, and so we got mad because how is it that we're gonna ride with y'all, but then the next round of rights that come about, y'all don't consolidate power with us as the next voting block. Y'all went over to black men, and the only reason that I can even reason that out as to why you would do that is because black men are men. They're actually male, and we aren't. And so it was an affront to them because we can accept as a group of white women that we are below you as women and that we are second to you. But we are not going to accept that we are third in line to NIGGERSs. Are you kidding me? We was just whipping them 2 weeks ago. Is you cool? So you're not going to consolidate power with me? You gonna go consolidate power with him, I guess, because he got a ding-a-ling? Oh, baby, bye. No, you tripping. Y'all tweaking right now. And that is where white women got mad about that. So when you want to talk about men, how men still run the country and how many white men run the country. Mr. Cartwright, he run it. He talk about Mr. Cartwright. And then even if you were to talk about Mr. Cartwright, you still deflected from the question. Maggie, our good sis Maggie asked you, why is it that the men would have to fight for the custody and rights over their children if in fact they are presumed to be full parents of the children with the same amount of rights that the women have? So why is it that they have to fight? Why come it can't start out as equal? And I will chance to finish her thought because she's in the chat. I will take a chance to finish Sister Maggie's thought. Okay? That it is a privilege of women, that actually men are suffering from not having the privilege, and also it is presumed that men are not good parents and that they are not parents. That only the mother is a parent and that she has ownership of the children. And why is it that the custody cannot come out as joint custody unless and until one of those parents is proven unfit to get to get joint custody or full custody or anything like that? Why aren't we assuming that why are we not saying that the custody thing should begin on equal playing ground, and then if one of the parents disqualifies through their circumstances or they are less qualified, then start there instead of starting at a point where men are automatically sort of disqualified?
Shaking your head.
I just know that my dad got custody of me because he asked for it. And it's a personal experience. It's not everything, but
Sorry, go ahead.
I completely agree that like all of the laws that we have, we can vote now, but we're still in a system that was designed by men. So a lot of the issues that we have, that men have, are because of decisions that they made.
But why would you start out assuming 50-50, like that both parents want the kid? Because in a lot of cases, like men just aren't asking. So wouldn't you want to make the assumption that like the parent who pursues custody is the one who, one, feels empowered to, and two, wants to? Because I agree, like there is a system set up where men probably don't feel empowered to ask for custody of their children, but I think that they should, first of all. But there is a problem, like you can't just say, oh, it's fully the court system's fault. I think there is a culture that encourages young men to just say, oh, well, that's a woman's job. That's, not my job. Not, if the woman wants the kid, she can have the kid. And I don't know why a court would assume that a father just wants to be a father.
I was going to say, so wouldn't that culture that would put that on men be a result of feminism? Because men would probably prefer to have the women in their household. And also women are the ones that are more likely to engage in divorce. So men want to stay with these women.
Engage in divorce?
Yeah.
Like start divorce,
Like
is what you're saying.
Yeah, I know
Okay.
what she
File.
was trying to say.
Wow.
Yeah, and men are the ones that actually stay because they want their family together. It is women that actually disrupt the family, and then they get upset with the results of a disrupted family.
Or they just want to keep the woman so that she's running the household. I don't know if it's necessarily I don't know. Men can't function as well without women as women can without a man. So I feel like when he hears divorce is on the table,
which is categorically false. See, the problem with feminism is the projection, the delusion, and saying things that are categorically and factually wrong and incorrect. Women can live better by themselves than men can. No, they cannot. No, they can't. Especially when there are children involved and the women insist upon taking the custody of them. How many times have you heard women get on this internet and complain and cry about how difficult it is being a single mom? And then it's a whole thing going on about you're married single mom. So if you're married, the man is not really taking his fair share of child rearing responsibilities. And so therefore we are also single moms, yet we are married. Women literally get on the internet to cry actual tears out of their eyes about how difficult it is to raise children by themselves, how much that they do not like motherhood and things of that nature, versus how many times do you see men who might be single fathers getting online to cry about how difficult it is to have children. And even if we take children out of the equation, women don't find it to be necessarily easier to live without men. Let's just be honest. Nobody wants to, and nobody is living their best life without the other one. Because when women get older and they lived a life where they didn't get married and they didn't have men consistently in their lives as their husbands and things of that nature, they are, they like cry about it. I showed y'all the video about that old woman shaking her butt in the camera because she still got a little, good looking body for her age. And so she twerks and stuff. It's obvious that she doesn't have a man. It's obvious that she's never had one for real. And then when you flip the coin, the men don't enjoy it either. Because after they get of a certain age, they not running the street either. So they start thinking, would have been nice to have a woman in my house. That would have been nice actually. To have female companionship, somebody that could come home to. I'm gonna retire soon. That's a lot of times why men don't leave a job. Not only sometimes, most of the time you can't afford it. Like unless you've made some real good choices in your working years, a lot of times you can't afford to retire, quote unquote, early. But when men are getting to that age where working is like, I like to work, but at the same time, I'm not in my 20s. I'm not in my 30s. So I do want a woman. Like messing around with them was okay, but it ain't damn been stable.
It's going to disrupt his whole life a lot more. And I feel like that's really what they're thinking about.
We also, so women do initiate divorce more. The issue is that they also initiate couples therapy. They also initiate seeking every single other alternative before divorce at basically the same rates as we see with divorce rates, right? So yes, women are divorcing. The issue is that like men accepting a loveless marriage with children who are miserable isn't like this thing that we should hold up and go, see, isn't this better? It's like, actually, all of this is unhealthy, right? It's unhealthy that men have been socialized in such a way that they don't think of themselves as fathers first, that they aren't asking for it, right? Whereas in this way, this is where women have been taught for both good and bad, that you are a mom, right? And I think we default to that, which is harmful to women. But we have to acknowledge that like women are seeking off-ramps in these relationships where divorce happens. And the same issues that they cite for divorce are happening over and over and over again. And this is a systemic issue. It's not just women want to get out of their marriages. It's that women won't tolerate a loveless, empty marriage, which is not even good for children.
So a loveless, empty marriage, how does the system contribute to what happens in your marriage?
Well, the way that we raise our boys, right, for example, is we teach them that your emotions are bad. So think about the way that we raise young boys. The most common way that young boys express their feelings is called externalizing. We see this in clinical data. The way that boys express their feelings, we teach them.
She blew over that note. She blew over that. I'm not going to belabor that point because it's a minor point in a major overarching conversation. But she was like, the way that boys express their emotions is they externalize. How many years ago did I tell y'all? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember me telling y'all that men live their lives externally and women live their lives internally. Men live their lives externally. Many of their experiences that they have in life come from things that are happening around them. It's an external catalyst going on with them. And they process things as an external thing. It's almost hard to explain what I mean by that. But the men should actually intrinsically understand what I'm saying. Because women live our lives actually the opposite way. We internalize everything. Everything happens internally first. For men, everything happens externally first. Okay? It's like when I told you guys years ago that men and women both have the emotional and the logical filters for how they think and process. Men will think and process with their rational logic first. Women process with their emotional logic first. Men process with their rational logic first, and then it moves to their emotional logic. Women do the opposite processing. We process emotional logic first, and then we move to rational logic. This is why when things happen and it's something that would be emotionally big and the men don't react with an emotional reaction at first, as a man, if you've had a woman in your life, a marriage, a woman long-term, please put it in the chat if you have had to walk her through to the rational part. That's because she can't process the rational part as quickly as you can. We are unable to do that. We're literally hardwired unable to do that. So whether that process is fast or slow, We have to walk through the emotion first. We have to. We have to feel the thing that you can't feel first. Okay? So many times you have to walk her. What you're walking her through isn't her being stupid, and it's not her being like against you. She just has to go through her emotional processing steps in order to get to the rational part of the logic that you are already at, because you went there first. That's why when you have a good woman, she'll be emotionally like, and then after a little while, she'll calm down, and then she'll be like more, because she's reaching the end of her emotional process. A lot of people don't understand the dynamic between the masculine and the feminine. A lot of the vast majority of human beings do not understand the interplay between masculine and feminine energies. We like to say men and women are different until those differences come up, and then we don't like those differences. The differences are stupid to us and all of that kind of stuff. And on both sides, it's men who think women are just stupid. Like she don't do the stuff how we do it, and so it's dumb, and so I don't have to pay attention to it. And there are women who think the same way. Men don't process, and they don't, you know what I'm saying, move through the world like women typically move through the world, and so men are crazy. What we're going to do is go to a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back. So after these messages, we'll be right back. Y'all know Valentine's Day is tomorrow. All right. So the side chicks should have already got their body butter, and the main chick should be getting her body butter tomorrow. And if you want to get that body butter, you need to have clicked the link that is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. Okay, keep your skin looking and feeling its absolute best with the body butter on screen. If this is going to be your first order, please take advantage of the 10% discount using the promo code Crimson at checkout. Oh, you guys are bam, 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 bam. You gotta hit the like button, bam, bam. You gotta go ahead and hit the like button. Thank you, Lord Sinister said, if that's the case, then why are there so many videos of women crying about being a single mom, moreover complaining that men won't help them? Exactly. So we're going to go back.
Only emotion you're allowed to have as a boy is anger. That's the only one allowed. But if you have anger, go to your room. Nobody wants to look at you or deal with you. And so what we've done is we've taught men that their feelings aren't okay, that if they have them, they're isolated and weak for having them. And so the only alternative for them is anger or anhedonia, a complete like emptiness and vacuousness. And so in this way, this is how society is contributing to this, because the presumptions we place onto our children that set a course and script for them that destroys their relationships. And men are reporting this. They're lonely, they have less friends, and their marriages don't work out. Men are saying this, not just women.
Really? Well, women do say it, you know, so I mean, I don't understand why it's always like the men, because the men aren't emotional, because the men aren't this. Like the women are the ones that want to leave. So
but women want to leave, and maybe we should ask them why, because men are responsible for 90% of the violent crime in the US. Like we always talk about women and what we should be doing. I really can't. I talk about feminism a lot, and I get so sick of it because I don't know why we're not talking about men. We're always focusing on women and what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing. With men, they're responsible for 95% of domestic violence, 93% of sexual assaults and pedophilia, 88% of homicides, 85% serial killings, 98% of mass shootings. Could I go on? And 77% of assaults. They are responsible for so much, and then we sit here and want to make women feel bad for wanting to leave that man. I don't know why we always are focusing on women all the time.
Well, because their solution is always to leave. It's never to
not
stay
always. Sometimes they want to have therapy, and the man doesn't want to do that.
And therapy is such BS because you go to a couples therapist and they say, "Oh yeah, you should leave your husband."
That's not
always true. Yes, that is.
Have you been to couples
always
therapy?
the solution. No, and I will not go to
okay. So you're just
couples
making
therapy.
assumptions.
I have
Great.
heard so many stories. I see it. I've seen it online.
Yeah. You know, I had come to the conclusion that modern day therapy was very much feminist leaning and was based upon the Duluth model. Shout out to Ask a Brother podcast. When I had him on my show, I think it was in September of last year or what have you. I've had him on the show at least twice. And we were talking, and I asked that brother, because that is his profession. And I asked him if it were a good, like, was I on point about that sentiment that modern day therapy is more coming from a feminist leaning, liberal leaning, left leaning point of view versus a more balanced point of view where everybody can be kind of held accountable and held to a particular standard. And he, without hesitation, was like, no, you're on point, because it's like that. Like, it's literally like that.
If you have a marriage and couples counselor and they are just recommending divorce, which is not true. I've gone to marriage counseling and they didn't recommend divorce. If they're doing that off the hop, that would be unethical. You can actually report them for that. They're trained for more than this. A marriage counselor got trained to see marriages be happy, right? The thing that they want is a fixed, rectified marriage. Sometimes that can happen for a number of reasons. However, the idea that marriage counselors are just telling women to divorce their husbands is so far from any of the literature that reports on this, so far from the ethics these people are trained on, is basically taking an entire field of care workers and saying, you actually just want to destroy the thing that you care for, which is just, it's just not true.
Okay, I need to ask a question to both sides. So, ladies on this side, do you believe that the gender gap pay is still real?
No, it's not. That's been debunked so many times.
Okay. And ladies on this side, I'm sorry, I want to hear from you on this side.
I think it's real. If you just look at statistics, a lot of people say like, oh, well, women are just choosing different jobs. And it's like, we're raised to idealize different jobs. But even then, it's like women, if you have a child, you're now also working and you have a child, you're not going to work as much. So it's like, that's to blame. The gender pay gap is huge. And the whole, I think it's like 70.
I'm going to interrupt her, and I'm probably going to go forward. My problem with a lot of feminist rhetoric, I have several problems with feminist rhetoric, as you will know. But my first problem with feminist rhetoric is everything that is biology is a social construct to them. They almost completely ignore biology when it is convenient for them. When they want to talk about what women can do that men can't do, they go directly to the biology, motherhood, women can carry children, things of that nature. But when we talk about everything else, then all of a sudden everything is a social construct that doesn't really have anything to do with the reality of human beings. These women want to be equal to men so bad. And this is why I say, even in the preface of my book, that feminism stripped women of femininity, of womanhood, of the identity of women. You don't know what a woman is or what women are supposed to be doing. And all that it did was make all of what a woman is relative to what a man is, but they did it in the worst way possible, because womanhood is relative to manhood. We were created second, not first. So we are based on that model. Okay? Adam was a single being with all of this stuff that the women have inside of him. Okay? He was pleased with being in the Garden of Eden, but he always felt it was something wrong with what was going on. He's seeing that he is unique and singular in his being, like in what he is. He's a human being, but he's the only one. Until he starts asking Allah about that. And when he starts to ask Allah about that, that is when Allah created Hawa. Okay? So Allah took a portion of Adam to create women. And that portion is always meant to complement Adam. So womanhood is relative to manhood. But the way in which feminism does that is that it automatically devalues what women are, which leads to a lot of feminists feeling so inferior to men and then not accepting that inferiority. Because the hardest pill to swallow for the collective of women is that we are inferior. That's the hardest part to swallow. We are. Are we human beings? Yes. Are we made exactly equal? No. Are we made complementary? Yes. Are we created equitably? Yes. Did Allah say that the husband and the wife have similar rights upon one another that need to be observed? Yes. So when these women have to face the hard reality that they are not men, that they do not do what men do, they do not execute things the way that men execute, and things of that nature, they automatically feel inferior and shamed. And they automatically feel less than. Because they see that the value of anything is only what men do. Listen, let me tell a lot of these women something. The world, by and large, has always been dominant or dominated by men. And so what is valuable to men and what makes men valuable is always going to be touted among the men. Who's the strongest? Who's the smartest? Who can amass the most wealth? Who can build more things? Who can invent things? Who can, okay? Who can strive further, go farther, do things better, improve upon, because men live externally. And so through the course of the history of mankind, men have been dominant. And so they're going to discuss among the standard is going to be set according to what is valuable for men. Follow me. I need you to follow, walk with me. When men discuss the value of women, they are not women. So they can only discuss the value of women relative to them. What do they like about women? That's the only way that they can describe that, because they are not women. This is similar to the other side also. Like a woman can only describe the value of a man to her. Because we are not men. The problem with feminism is that it took away the other part of that thought. What makes women valuable intrinsically? What is her value? What does she contribute to humanity, to the various societies throughout the history of humankind? That is what feminism stripped from women, the identity of women. When you don't have an identity, when you don't know who you are, you always walk around in delusion and chaos. Hence the Black community. I'm going to make that draw. Largely, the descendants of slaves in this country was stripped of their identities. And therefore, after being stripped of our identities collectively as a group, we have struggled to define ourselves by our standards, not by Mr. Cartwright's standards and all these other standards. Put a 1 in the chat if you took that walk with me. We can describe men's value to the world. That is a part of, and I didn't mean to make it seem as though women couldn't see that. So that's my, I apologize for that. I never meant to make it seem as though women can't say what the value of men is to the world. What the value of men is to the world is obvious because men are external creatures. They are meant to dominate over the physical realm. So they're always going to be masters of it. Everybody can talk about what men contribute to the world. The part where feminists and many women, what the part they get lost at is they are not capable of describing what the value of women is to the world. And when they can't draw any kind of balance to that, it play on their mind. Oh, well, we just kind of suck. Uselessness is the word. Worthless. Because all the value of the human being lies with the man. I'm giving you feminist thought. I'm giving you the undergirding of feminist thought. That's what's difficult to articulate. The value of humankind is to be found in men, not women. So what are women's qualities? If men have all these wonderful qualities about building things and their value is exceedingly great as it pertains to the world and the world stage and men's contribution to that world. See, men have done more than contribute to the world. They built it. God gave men dominion over it. And men were to go out and subdue it in the name of Allah, in righteousness. The part that feminists have a problem with is, what do women do? What they're neglecting is that women were not created to build the external world. We are masters of the internal world. That's why we process stuff internally first. Our emotional logic is first, because that belongs in the intangible world. This is why y'all can't really win arguments with us. This is why y'all don't, as men, it's like y'all got a cap for y'all capacity for all that emotional output. Just like women have a cap for physical output. Follow me. Women have a cap for physical output. We simply cannot hang with y'all. Blow for blow, pound for pound, physical exertion, physical work, and everything that it takes to actually do that work. We're even physically not equipped to do that. Y'all are bones, denser, muscle mass, better, all of that. So like women have a cap for physical exertion, men have a cap for emotional exertion. Men maintain the physical external world. Women are designed to maintain the internal worlds of men and women. That's why God talk about a good wife so much. And the turmoil that a bad wife or a bad woman can make. It's not because we're evil inherently. We're not, because to say that would mean to say that there is no such thing as a woman who is righteous or good. The issue that the Most High is bringing to everybody's attention is that women are the masters of an intangible world that men have limited perception about. Y'all's perception of that is real limited. Just like women's perception of the scope of what it takes to maintain the infrastructure of the physical world is lost on us. That's why when we speak life into y'all, it feels so good. We're building the internal world and maintaining it to the same degree that men build and maintain the external world. The reason why we're having such a problem with feminism is because feminism is there to destroy the infrastructure of that internal world. And so therefore that infrastructure is falling or has fallen, and it has thrown the family and community unit into flux. The same way that if men had abandoned their posts about upholding and maintaining the physical world infrastructure, how the world would fall. Men always say that if we don't maintain the world will fall. True for the external world. What's happening is in the internal world, this is actually what's taking place. And feminism is the main catalyst of that. Thank you, Mr. Dacus, the navigator, said they are free to build their own society without our involvement or presence if we make up a large percentage of their problems. No men, no drama, no worries. Thank you so much.
$5 on the dollar is just for white women. It's less for Hispanic women. It's less for Black women. Like it changes. It's very real.
But you think that they're choosing like hospitality jobs?
Like the gender pay gap. We also now see that women majority professions are being attacked education-wise. Loan. My mom went to school, and until middle school, she had to wear a skirt every single day.
Some of the most like who cares about women and not identify as a label. I would just say, come to my side. You probably do agree fundamentally with my presumptions.
Agree their decision to sacrifice their life for their children? Absolutely not. I'm a mother myself, but I also want to have the opportunity. I don't want to tell you not to get married when you're 19 and.
Why do you need the right to vote before our men? That's the question I would ask.
I'm saying everyone should have it.
Don't agree with, because one of
or was speaking in a way that,
if that's what makes them happy.
So I did get a sense that someone on this side felt like this side was feeling or was speaking in a way that felt racist. Can you speak to that?
So when you said something about the difference between women and Black people,
As far as human rights.
can I speak, or are you going to keep cutting me off?
Yeah, go for it.
Right. Thank you. That's like one of my main issues with feminism is like even Susan B. Anthony, like she compared white women to the Black man, and she felt a way that Black men got the right to vote before white women. And that's like also something that I don't agree with, because white women think they're superior to Black men, you know? Why do you need the right to vote before our men? That's the question I would ask.
She's referring to a point that I ended up skipping over, where the lady in pink was equating feminism to the Black civil rights movement. And the young lady there who's speaking was like, don't do that, because it's not the same thing. Stop trying to attach every little movement to the Black civil rights movement. Stop doing that. She's on point with that. I'm going to let her finish her point, and then I'm going to, of course, give my thoughts.
Everyone should have it at the same
But
time.
why do you
I'm not
have
talking
to
about when it happened. I'm saying everyone is a human.
It was just,
Doesn't
you just
matter your
throw it
race or your
This is
gender.
the thing,
I feel like you should be able to live your life the way you want. That's the feminist movement.
But why did you have to
choice
bring
now.
up Black people? That's what I'm trying
Because
to say.
it's a human
because you're
rights movement.
performative.
I'm comparing.
Because you're performative, babe.
Okay,
You're
I'm
performative.
comparing human rights movements. Black people exist. Women exist.
You don't have to
I
speak
think
on
both
it.
of them
Don't speak on it.
should. Why? It's a human rights movement. That's what we're
It's
talking
not
about.
productive. I'm
It's
telling
not
you, I don't
productive
like
to talk
it.
about human rights movement and compare the two when they're just about equalizing things for people so we can all come
I'm
up
letting
together.
you know that it's offensive. I'm telling you that it's offensive.
It's offensive for me to say that
Yeah.
women should have the same rights as Black people.
Yep, it is.
It's offensive for me to say that all humans should have the same rights as everyone. That we should
That's
all
not
have the
what
same
you
rights.
said. There's a difference between everyone
Literally
and Black
right now,
people.
I'm saying
Mhm.
everyone. I don't give. Sorry, what your skin color is, what's between your legs. I don't care about any of that. I want everyone to be able to make the decisions they want for themselves and have the same rights. I don't want you to have any less rights than me. I don't want this guy to have any less rights than me or more. Everyone should be even. That's fucked up for me to say.
Okay,
Could I
good.
just ask
It is.
I'm just curious what's racist about the statement that I want women to have the same rights as Black people? I'm just, because you said that's racist. I'm just curious what's racist about
because
that.
first of all, you guys classify women as second sex, right? You guys think women, this comes from the feminist movement. We look at women and we say, oh, we're treated as second class citizens. We're treated less than men. And so it's a little bit dehumanizing to say, for one, you want to fight for women to have better rights, and then to look at Black people, which isn't just Black women, that's Black men, our men, that we need to be, we expect our men to be strong, and for you to say, oh, well, women deserve the same rights, Black people should get the same rights as women. There's this culture in Black culture where our men are constantly emasculated, right? So I'm very, very my husband's a Black man, so I'm very intentional about how we speak about our Black men, and I don't like that.
I wasn't talking about just Black men.
But you need to be mindful, okay? Since you're a liberal and that's what y'all are about, you need to be mindful.
I
And
didn't
that's
say
it.
anything racist.
That's it.
She didn't say anything.
Sorry about that. I was saying that the young lady didn't completely articulate that thought, but the thing about it was she was saying, stop attaching everything under the umbrella of the Black civil rights movement, because the rest of you suckers was not dealing with the same things that Black people was dealing with under white supremacy, which made them have to fight for civil rights and human rights and things of that nature. Wasn't nobody stringing women down the street and lynching them. There has not been a history in this country of enslaving women or enslaving rainbow people or enslaving any other so-called fringe group or quote unquote underrepresented group or any of these other groups. Nobody has actually gone through as a collective group in this country. Nobody has gone through the level of oppression that Black people have gone through as a group in this country. You just haven't. Have other groups been marginalized? Okay, you can make an argument for that. Has the system of white supremacy discriminated and shown its racist face to other marginalized groups and non-white groups? Yes, it has. Yes, it has. But at the same time, that doesn't give everybody the right to fall under the umbrella of the Black civil rights movement, because y'all didn't go through none of that stuff and you didn't fight your way out of it. And when you and as a feminist, if you want to attach feminism to the Black civil rights movement, that's disingenuous all the way around. Because not only when we talk about the Black civil rights movement, we are definitely talking about Black men. At the same time, it's disingenuous as well, because the feminist movement and the suffragette movement was a white movement, not a Black movement. And white women did have civil rights to a degree, because you wasn't being beat on a plantation. I can tell you that. Many of y'all was the owners of them plantations, especially when y'all husbands died and everything got passed to you. You didn't dismantle it either. You sure did take your little piece of the pie, did you not? A whole CIA operation as well. And who run the CIA? What government is the CIA attached to? And we supposed to think that these things are operating independently of one another? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So how dare you? Really, how dare you? As a white woman, sit up here and try to talk about feminism being on par with the Black civil rights movement when feminism was a white supremacist white women movement. When feminism is an integral part of modern day white supremacy. How you want to fall behind the umbrella of the very people that you and your ancestors and your foremothers and forefathers worked tirelessly to go against? Both the Black men and the Black women. Because y'all, it ain't like y'all liked Black women. The only reason y'all came across the aisle to talk to Black women is so that you could infiltrate and break the Black community. Once, because see, Gloria Steinem came about in second wave feminism. That's when the CIA co-opted it. It didn't start as a CIA operation. The CIA co-opted an operation once they realized and projected and did the calculations on how, if this thing keep going further and further, this is going to be the end result. Hence the Moynihan report. And once they infiltrated it with the CIA, and then used that CIA and Gloria Steinem and all of that to then infiltrate and undermine the Black community, the very rights movement that you're now sitting here talking about. Feminism is a part of. Feminism actually was utilized to undermine that very community and dismantle that movement. How dare you? How dare you? The audacity and the caucasity. How many of our Black brothers and sisters that was down for the cause had to shed blood and meet their maker on the back of y'all infiltrating the Black community and using Black women to do so? Bell hooks, intersectionality. I'm gonna get to y'all very generous super chats in just a moment. Give me.
I didn't say anything like that at all. You're trying to misconstrue. Now you are getting my twisted.
Thank you for. Did she answer your question about what offended her?
I feel like and I'm not trying to be.
I know you're trying to actually understand.
I genuinely
which
understand.
part of the conversation offended her, and I
You
think
didn't, it wasn't you. People, and then not speak on like.
But she's right. I meant everyone should have the same rights. And I only brought up
fineforever.com and shop now. Your support as much as they have blessed me. The next prompt is, no career will give women as much joy and fulfillment as raising children. Okay.
Before we start on that, let me acknowledge these super chats because thank you so much. 52. Yeah, this is 50. I get so mixed up because I think that's who you are. But anyway, thank you so much that you right on the money, Miss Crimson. Everything shouldn't fall up under the Black. That's the dual twist and agenda they've been trying to push. They've been pushing that. They did it with the rainbow. They do it with everybody, Black and brown. I never subscribed to that. The Black and brown coalition, because excuse me, because they don't rock with us either. Like, don't get me started. So many people do not even rock with us until it's convenient. But thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. Did I Did I miss? Oh no, I didn't miss. Did I miss you, Party Boy? Say keep doing what you're doing. A Pretty Boy, or is it Party Boy? But thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you, NS. It's been a while, sis, but keep up the great work. The Most High bless you always. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you as well. Thank you. And my twin, she hit me up again.
Mr. Grinch!
What's poppin', twin?
How's it going?
Hey, you doing?
Thank you so very much for all of y'all generous contribution and the cash apps that I received. Thank you as well. I don't say the names of the people who give me cash apps just because most of the time y'all government names show up, and so I kind of learned the hard way. Don't say that, but I do want to acknowledge everyone who gave me cash apps as well.
Oh, maybe someone who hasn't spoken. Go ahead.
I'm a Christian, so as much as you guys know all your statistics and everything about things, it's more that it conflicts with my Christian belief so much, right? So I believe that we're here to reproduce. That's one of the things in the Bible. The first thing about men and women is that they were brought together, and then it was to be fruitful and multiply. So I think one of the most valuable things we can do as women in society is to continue reproducing and grow up raise the next generation. So that's really important. And then I'm kind of seeing how this generation is being raised in a lot of single mother households and stuff. And so I really want to prioritize bringing back the nuclear family, men in the homes and us in traditional roles. And that's my belief.
So I said yes, but it's with a huge caveat, which is that both genders report greater life satisfaction when they have children. Like, children's good for everyone. And this idea that we're lumping it to women is part of my problem with this, right? So do women experience like greater life satisfaction? Yes, so do men. Except who do we expect to be home? Women. We're like penalizing men and women. For example, if a woman wants to have a career, it feels like your side is saying, well, that wouldn't be good. Okay, well, she's also going to get life satisfaction from her career. In fact, there's a lot of acute happiness that often comes attached to a career. And the issue is that like men and women should have the agency to choose both of these things because they should both have access to it, right? There isn't a reason why we should tell men, women have to stay home, you must stay at work, you won't get a relationship with your children. You get a relationship with your kids for 6 hours a day. I don't think that that's better, right? Speaking of the capitalism, I think if you look at models that have like 32-hour work weeks, you have greater happiness amongst men, women, and children because both parents are home with their children. And frankly, if a woman wants to not have a child, that's fine. That's her prerogative to do, right? You can still have great life satisfaction and happiness from not having a child.
I just want to say one thing because she brought up capitalism. The nuclear family unit, I love the idea. Honestly, my dad was a stay-at-home dad for a while. Then my mom was. They like switched on and off a little bit, which I loved having my dad at home. I thought it was dope. And I think it would be awesome if we could have a parent in the household. But the reality is feminism didn't stop that. It was capitalism. 1950s nuclear family unit existed because we were taxing the rich at 90%. We don't tax them anymore. Amazon and Tesla, they paid $0 in taxes. So I wish you could all be your trad wives that you want to be. I just don't know if your man will be able to afford the house to put you in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
want to push back. And I've pushed back on this stuff before. And I'm going to say it again. Traditional wife roles. And I don't know who thought this one up because this did not come from the Most High. That to be a traditional wife means that you do not make income. I'm going to poke a lot of holes in that. Being a traditional wife has nothing to do with whether you work or not. That's a more succinct way to put it. Being a traditional wife has nothing to do with whether or not you are working. Nothing. Because if that were true, there would not be hyenas begging men to make them, put them in the soft life and take care of them and be women of leisure. They would not ask for that. Hyenas wouldn't ask for that. You are a traditional woman when you observe the hierarchy and the order that the Most High set for men, women, and children. That is when you are traditional. That's nothing to do with working. It's a lot of hyenas at the house. It's a lot of hyenas at the house. More than 1,500 years ago, during the lifetime of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, as the Quran was being revealed, many of the things that women, quote unquote, fought for in feminism had already been granted by Allah. If women were not to have income at all, then Allah would not have given us the right of inheritance. He would not give us the right to own land and to earn income. We are allowed to have a separate stream of income that does not derive from our husbands. And there is nothing wrong with that. The only thing that the Muslim woman is required to do is continue to observe her Islam and the rules of Islam in terms of how she interacts with men and things of that nature. But she can work, she can earn, she can own, she can buy, she can do all of that stuff and still honor her husband as the headship and leadership of the household and of the family. There is no real conflict with that. There's actually no real conflict. The conflict comes along when the women decide that they don't want to abide by the order and the structure of God being at the top of that heap, and then men submitting to that God so that he can righteously have you as a wife submit to him along with his children. And all of you all submit to the standard of the Most High together. In these cases, comparison is truly the thief of joy. Who said that a woman's job was to be at the house? Small children are only small for a few years. Unless you got a lot of kids and you stair-stepping them. But most women now are not having them 10, 11, 12 kids like our grandmothers used to have. Women are having 1 kid, 2 kids, maybe 3. 4 is considered a really big family now. Let's say you have 2 children and you stair step them. They only like a year or 2 apart. Once they start going to school full time and get a little older, get a little bit more independence and autonomy, you don't have to stay there and look at them kids unless you homeschooling. And even if you are, you can still earn an income. You don't have to go outside that house. In 2026, you ain't got to go outside that house and get no money. You scroll on that phone all day. If you want $1, you better make that little phone do something for you. Don't do nothing but listen and spy. So you might as well make it go out and get some money since it's listening and spying. It done collected your social security number anyway. So you might as well make it go, use the money, use the information that is spying and lying and talking and looking and listening about, and make it go make you some money so you can hire you some money. Because the fact that y'all want to sit in the house so much, or that you think it's a false narrative, is what it is. It's a false construct of the argument. It's a false representation of traditional marital life to begin with. Men got to go out and work and women have to stay home. No, they don't. Do men have a job to do and women have a job to do? Yes. Earning an income don't dictate those jobs, particularly for the woman. Going and earning an income impact the man job more than it do the woman. Because that's like literally a part of like the first set of things he's supposed to be doing. However, you, on the other hand, can contribute to that with your income. Because even if you make income outside of your husband, and let's say you don't give him the money directly, if you utilizing the money in a halal and a righteous way and a good way in your family and in your household, you actually are alleviating some of the stress of him, because his actual job is to take care of the necessities of the family according to his means. That's his actual job. So he's not even 100% responsible for all of the like little bitty little nuances, this, that, third, get, you know what I'm saying? You got to get this, every single little dollar got to come out of his pocket. If you had some money, you could upkeep your nails, your hair, buy a little stuff that you wanted off of Amazon. You ain't got to worry him about it. The extra little food stuff, you ain't got to worry him about it. The extra little stuff that the kids need for school, you know what I'm saying? He had to pay the little fee for them to go on a trip. You don't got to worry him about it. Don't you think he would feel alleviated by this? Especially if y'all doing it that way does not put an undue strain on his wife and thus his family. If you can do that with more ease than he's doing it, he don't care. Most men don't care. The type of man that don't want you to never ever work, no matter what his finances is doing, you got a deeper problem than money. I'm here to tell you that. If you got a man that's willing to argue with you about you making money, no matter what his finances is doing, whether they up, down, or down the street or up around the corner, no matter what his finances is doing and ain't doing, he ready to bite your head off for you to get a couple of dollars. He don't want you to get a couple of dollars. You got a bigger problem than money. The marital problems that you have don't have nothing to do with money, beloved. Nothing. Because a man that don't want you to think, blink, or talk, or walk, or do nothing, You got to side-eye him, because what's his plan? So most women are not having an issue with a man and a man telling them, she bet not dot that dough for $1. And even if she's sitting at the home, she bet not get on the internet and make no money. You ain't even got to be a content creator or nothing. Just find your little hobby, get you something to sell, something or something like that or whatever. And if you did want to be a content creator, it's folks that make content don't never show their face. Have we ever seen Pink Book lessons? Shout out to Pink Book. She make her a good little coin. It's channels that I have followed for so long, and I ain't seen nothing but them women's hands, because all they do in the camera is crochet or sew. I only seen them women's hands. You can figure out something. Why come you can't figure out nothing to do? So I just wanted to poke holes in that real quick. That a traditional wife means she gotta stay at home. She can't work. We're not against working. Lionesses are not against no work. Matter of fact, we like work. We just happen to have sense in our head, and we don't let going out and getting a coin, no matter if it's a small coin or a bag of coins, we don't let that override our femininity and how we serve in our marriages and our homes with our husbands. That is what we don't do. We don't get so big-headed about it, so as to be walking around with our chest puffed out, talking about I'm a boss babe, and he got to do what I say. We just not stupid. Okay? We just not stupid. Is that all right with you? That we able to go and get a coin and not be stupid? I can go and get a coin and hold my house together. Because I don't like that argument, because it's almost like good women can't do both. You can. Literally, you can. That's having it all right there. Being able to go get you a coin and come home and still be a wife to your husband. It ain't a whole lot of men, especially in this country, that would begrudge you that. Again, if you ran into one of them little weirdos, you're going to have to side-eye him. We're not going to be too much longer.
We have to really focus on the capitalism part of it, because if you want to be able to have a woman at home with your kids, you have to be able to afford to do that. And a lot of people right now can't afford to, even if they want to. So before attacking feminism, we should be eating the rich. We should be attacking billionaires and taking back the tax money so that you can have your nuclear family unit.
I wanted to speak on this one. Could you repeat the prompt for me, please?
Sure. No career would give women as much joy and fulfillment as raising children.
Okay. So I'm probably the oldest one here. Just turned 50 last month. So as a golden girl who has raised boys, I'm a boy mom who was a professional woman, and that cost me my marriage, thinking that the career was more important than the family. And so my position is from learning from the mistakes that I made to help younger women make decisions that they will be happy with when they're my age. And you brought up the word acute. There's nothing wrong with working. And I do want to say, we are not expecting the man exclusively works and the woman is exclusively home. Both of my parents worked and took time. You work it out for your family with your husband. That's all that matters.
She
It doesn't.
the nuclear family unit.
Nuclear family means mom, dad, sister, brother, or whatever it is. It doesn't mean only dad works and only mom is in the kitchen. Generations ago, mom may have side businesses, do other things, sew, bake, whatever it is. You do what's best for the family. All I'm saying, as a woman with lived experience, who has been an executive, who has had the big bonuses and all of that, I promise you, having a son that is a Marine, working with my ex-husband to raise 2 boys that we are very proud of, one that's going to the Air Force, nothing will give you that fulfillment than being a mother. I'm telling you now, the acute accomplishments are great, but legacy trumps everything.
Well, this is the important thing of like fourth wave feminism.
And what are we gonna end it off on? What the good sis Maggie was trying to tell them. Nobody's saying that the only thing that any woman can ever do is have a baby and get married. There's so much delusion and fear-mongering among feminists. All the women can't be mamas. All the women are not going to be mothers. Every woman can't birth a kid. Every woman, every couple not gonna be able to birth children to begin with. So there's no possible way that the only use of a woman is that she's going to birth a child, because what happens when she can't do that? She still has to be a woman. She still has to be a wife. She still has to know how to move through the world, child or no child. Every man not a dad. What the good sis Maggie was talking about was that she actually did both. And through her lived experience, the thing that fills her with the most sense of pride, joy, fulfillment, and like a real sense of having accomplished something that was going to be like long lasting, was her motherhood. Her ability to co-parent with her ex-husband to raise those boys into grown, successful, level-headed men. And I hope I sum that up properly, Miss Maggie. I already did the boardroom thing. That's nice. The thing that feminists miss between doing stuff for me and doing stuff for somebody else is that you don't lose anything when you do something for other people. Motherhood is something that you do for somebody else. You do that for your children without any expectation that they're going to do something for you. The only thing that you hope when you are a mother is that your children take in and live with the teachings that you instilled upon them, and that they live their life according to the good things that you taught them. And you hope and pray that you did your best by them. and that they are able to live a life worth living, and that they don't have to suffer because of the things that their mother didn't do or the things that she did wrong. So we get fulfillment from actually doing something that's bigger than me, for participating in something greater than me, for producing something that don't just benefit me. We're gonna go ahead and just end this off. I wanted to end off on the good sis, Sister Maggie. I was so happy to see her on a thumbnail. I was like, I said, not they got the lioness on there. She gonna get them together in that soft voice. Sis gonna get them together in that soft voice. She gonna fix her glasses. Did you see her do it? She fixed her glasses, y'all. I said, let me get these little hyenas together. Real nice. She got such motherly energy. Then look, like, listen here, baby. Let me tell you something, baby. Sit down right there. Let me tell you something. They do. I did see that they had 2 parts, because we have to mind through this. Okay, yes, there will be a part 2. Absolutely. Don't be surprised if I pop up tomorrow with it. I'm gonna see. No promises, but I'll see as soon as I can pop up with it. If it's before Monday, we'll do it before Monday. She really did. She sat there so poised. And when she was ready to cook them, she fixed her glasses. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get on up out of here. I want to thank you all for coming through, for rocking with me. We're going to continue this conversation because we need to continue this conversation. It's a lot of different moving parts that we need to address. All right, but thank you so much. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, is the Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.